When empaths try harder to avoid rejection in a toxic relationship, they paradoxically accelerate their own discard. From the empath's inner logic, trying harder feels noble. If I explain better, if I regulate more, if I become softer, stronger, calmer, clearer, if I finally get it right. But inside this specific toxic dance, trying harder is not repair, it is fuel. The hidden rule of the control-oriented system. The control-oriented nervous system of the partner, toxic or narcissistic potential, does not bond through mutuality. It bonds through asymmetry. What stabilizes the control-oriented nervous system of the toxic partner is superiority, impact, leverage, emotional dependency, proof that the other adjusts. So when the empath tries harder, the toxic partner system receives, I matter more, you bend, I control the emotional climate, you fear losing me. This is regulation through dominance, not connection. The paradox that seals the fate. Here's the paradox that most empaths miss: the more you try to save the bond, the more you prove to the toxic partner that the bond is unequal, and therefore disposable. Why? Because mutual bonds require choice, trauma bonds thrive on need. Trying harder signals fear of abandonment, willingness to self-abandon, loss of inner center. And once that happens, the control system unconsciously concludes, you are no longer a mirror of strength, you are a resource. Resources are consumed, eaten alive. They are not cherished. Why discard follows shortly after. Once the empath explains more, apologizes more, adapts more, tolerates more, doubts themselves more, the control partner experiences satiation, emotional extraction succeeded, boredom, no resistance left. Contempt, you collapsed, irritation, you now remind them of their own emptiness. So discard is not rage. It is devaluation after extraction. That's why it feels so cold. What actual emotional safety really is, and isn't. Here's the reframe that changes everything: emotional safety is not emotional fusion, shared fear, agreement with dysregulation, reassurance without grounding, emotional availability without structure. Those feel soothing short-term, but they increase dependency. Emotional safety is predictability, grounded presence, self-contained regulation, clear limits, non-reactive strength, consistency over intensity. And this is where the stability field, father energy, becomes essential. The stability or father field, clinically, not symbolically. When we strip father energy of myth and gender, it means capacity to remain internally organized while another is dysregulated, without abandoning them or being pulled into their chaos. Key qualities: calm without withdrawal, presence without appeasement, boundaries without punishment, care without collapse, truth without aggression. This is not softness. This is structural safety. Why wounded empaths often feel unsafe with stability. Here's the uncomfortable truth. For trauma-trained nervous systems, chaos feels familiar. Intensity feels like love, calm feels like distance, stability feels like threat. So when true stability shows up, it doesn't feed fear, it doesn't escalate, it doesn't chase, it doesn't plead. And that can initially feel emotionally unsafe, even though it's the only real safety there is. The moment everything flips. The moment an empath stops trying harder and instead embodies stability, no more over-explaining, no more emotional bargaining, no more self-defense monologues, no more collapse, no more emotional pursuit. Two things happen simultaneously: the toxic system loses supply. The empath exits the old identity. This is why the shift often triggers escalation or sudden discard. Both are confirmations that you stop feeding the old dynamic. The final integration. So let's seal this cleanly: you were not discarded because you lacked love. You were not discarded because you failed safety. You were not discarded because you were too calm, too emotional, or not enough. You were discarded because you could not be controlled and respected at the same time, and control was required for that toxic partner system to feel regulated. That realization is not bitter. It is liberating. Your liberation